Good evening, esteemed members of Convocation. Before I proceed, please allow me to acknowledge and appreciate the presence of our key stakeholders, Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Litlokwa George Mpedi, honorable members of the Management Executive Committee, members of the Executive Leadership Group, members of Council here present, the Executive Committee of Convocation, Executive Deans, distinguished members of the academic community, students and staff of the Great University of Johannesburg, our alumni members, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. It gives me great pleasure as a former student and Convocation president of this distinguished university to be part of this AGM. Today is a very special day for many of us in the EXCO of Convocation, as it is our first time occupying different portfolios. I therefore take this opportunity to express my sincere and profound gratitude to preside over this AGM. UJ is an institution that I personally regard as the cradle of Pan-Africanist ideologies and the seminal source of African intellectualism. Here, I was academically born, and here I was transformed. And here, I truly discovered my African identity and African personality. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to begin with, and on behalf of EXCO, and on my own behalf, to extend our warmest greetings and welcome to everyone present here for this AGM. Sanibonani, Dumelani, Molweni. Before I proceed, I wish to salute the academic and non-academic staff and council members, past and present, who through their hard work and selfless dedication inscribed this institution in the annals of African history and academic excellence. I would like to welcome all attendees and advise on the ground rules for this meeting. You are kindly advised to be respectful when contributing to the discussion or question and answer session. Please ensure that you also utilize the chat box section to contribute to the discussion. Are there any apologies to tender? Prof?
Chair, yes, we do have 3 apologies. We've got an apology from Dr. Mpoti Ralapata, MEC member. He's traveling. We've got an apology from Mr. Nakedi. He is seeing his supervisor this afternoon, and we've got an apology from Professor Tumidiale. She's not well, but she is online.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks, Registrar. Before we proceed, colleagues, I would like to give you a synopsis of our meeting agenda. I will take it as read, since it was circulated by the office of the registrar a while ago. But however, for the benefit of everyone, this is how our meeting is going to proceed. We have item 2, which is the document for reference purposes. The registrar sent it a while ago. We have the constitution of the convocation. Please be reminded that this meeting and its procedures are in accordance with the university statute, the constitution of the convocation, as well as the university's rules for effective meetings. Item 3, we are going to have our declaration of interest. Item 4, confirmation of the agenda. Item 5, which is the approval of the minutes of the AGM that was held on the 2nd of September 2022. And then item 6, we will introduce the EXCO members. Item 7 will be my address as the president of Convocation. And then item 8, it is going to be the Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Litlokwa Mpedi. Question 9, we are going to have a question and answer session. Item 10, we are going to have supplementary items. And those supplementary items, please, as we progress with the meeting, please make sure that you make use of the chat box sections in your Microsoft Teams. And then item 11, we are going to close the meeting. We are going to swiftly move to item 3, which is a declaration of interests. I don't know, from the Office of the Registrar, do we have any declarations of interest?
Chair, no, we have not received any.
Okay, thank you. Since there are no interests that were declared, therefore let's proceed. We will swiftly move to item 4, which is the confirmation of the agenda. First and foremost, I would like to thank all convocation members who submitted items to be included on the agenda. Participating in the AGM of convocation is very important as it provides first-hand information about the strategic direction of the university and other development issues. The proposed agenda items received from members of the convocation will be addressed in the address by the Vice-Chancellor or by myself. Supplementary items are still welcome, and please make use of the chat box section to lodge any supplementary items which will be discussed under item 10 of the agenda. Colleagues, let us now move to the motion for the adoption of the agenda. Can I seek for hands that seek to adopt the agenda? Thank you. Any seconders, please? Thanks. Are there any hands that seek to object to this agenda? Thanks, colleagues. We will proceed to item 5, which is the approval of the minutes of the AGM held on the 2nd of September 2022. This is for approval. We need to get confirmation of the minutes of the previous AGM that was held on the 2nd of September last year. These minutes were circulated a few weeks ago, and I will consider them as read. Prof. Bettin, please confirm if we are correct.
Yes, we are. So we can approve. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Prof. If we are correct, can we then ask for the adoption of the previous minutes and someone to second it?
I'm proposing adoption.
Thank you. I then confirm that the minutes with no amendments were a true reflection of what had been discussed and decided upon, and ask for a motion to second it. Okay. Thanks, colleagues. We will move to item 6, which is the introduction of the new members of the Executive Committee of Convocation. We have our Honorable Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Litlokwa George Mpedi. We are also joined by the Registrar, Professor Bettin Jansen van Vuren. We are also joined by the Senior Manager for the Alumni Office, Mr. Nelly Dwaba. And in absentia, we have Professor Tumi Diale, who is the Deputy President. She is not feeling well.
She is online.
Okay.
Chair.
Okay, thank you. We also have Non-Dumiso Mvubu, who is also a council representative. I guess colleagues will agree with me that we have adequate gender representation in our EXCO, and we are moving in the right direction. We also have Mr. Kucho Ramutla, as well as Mr. MacDonald Nakedi Makoro. In February this year, the Executive Committee of Convocation met to develop a strategic plan in how we could contribute to maintaining the university's highly rated status in the global education environment. This entailed identifying projects to champion, as well as determining which projects to adopt from the previous EXCO. Our tenure began at a very historical and remarkable moment in which the university was undergoing a transitional change of its leadership. In his appointment, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Ditlokwa Mpedi, was clear in his vision to pursuing the Sustainable Development Goals and introducing the Global Excellence and Stature Strategy 4.0 for societal impact. Therefore, we identified priority areas to focus on to enhance the reputation of the university and align ourselves with the strategic direction of the university. Chief amongst our priority areas of focus were the following. It was, first, raising the profile of the university, and the primary question we ought to address was how do we raise the profile of the university by connecting with our alumni and asking them to continue playing their role in their university. We also focused on fundraising. I guess the million-dollar question was how do we help the university to raise funds given its strategic location in Johannesburg. And the task that we had was to identify fundraising initiatives. The third area of focus was student welfare. And the primary question that we ought to address was how can we contribute as Convocation on student welfare. And the other area of focus were the Sustainable Development Goals and societal impact. Our primary objectives were identifying partnerships and programs for implementation with the potential to uplift our communities or contribute to the public good. So these are the 4 priority areas that we have been committed to since the commencement of our term of office. Therefore, I will go through each of these and see where we are and what challenges lie ahead. In terms of the first key area of focus, which is establishing relations with the alumni, we have taken a multi-focus approach by directly approaching former students who now hold positions of influence in society. We have also aggressively marketed the activities of Convocation, and together with the Alumni Office, we have managed to put together numerous events for alumni and Convocation members. We have also arranged targeted events at specific faculties under the banner of Convocation. We have also successfully launched numerous affinity groups and chapters to draw on the matured networks and expertise of our alumni. These affinity groups and chapters have been a critical pillar of support in the activities of Convocation and are an essential cog in the wheel of Convocation, especially because they have delivered material support to us as well as extended the impact of Convocation to areas we have never accessed. On the 29th of September this month, we will be launching the UJ Sports Alumni Affinity Group and would like to invite all of you to join us for this event. It is our hope and desire that through the launch of this affinity group, we will be able to establish various sporting academies that will be fully funded by organizations such as CAF, the Confederation of African Football, and many other professional bodies which remain untapped. We also have a Convocation newsletter and award-winning Alumni Impumelelo magazine, which profiles our illustrious alumni as well as events and opportunities that alumni can participate in. Next year, we will be introducing a bi-monthly letter from the EXCO desk, which will serve to continuously engage and update convocants on current and recent developments of the university as well as challenges that lie ahead. We also intend visiting all our faculty and college boards to introduce the Convocation and promote the active participation of academic staff. Your active participation also assists us in making nominations for the Alumni Dignitas Awards, which celebrate and honor our alumni's achievements in their respective spheres of influence. In synopsis, our agenda in terms of this area of focus has been reconnecting with our former students, raising the profile of UJ, and the most critical, which is approaching critical stakeholders that can be partners with us. We therefore plead with the university management to play ball in oiling up our operations, in ensuring that we realize our targeted objectives in taking the university forward. Moving to the second area of focus, which is fundraising. In many developed countries, it is common that alumni make huge financial and other contributions towards the alma mater, and much can be learned from these supporting models. In South Africa, this is currently not the case, and even more need for alumni support exists as government subsidies to universities have been steadily declining. The university needs more funds to ensure its financial sustainability so that business continuity can be maintained even if funding ceases to exist. Putting matters into perspective, fundraising can look daunting because the university needs a lot of money, and there is no way a structure like Convocation can raise the capital required by the university, because most of that money comes from NSFAS, subsidies, and third stream income. Therefore, we must find indirect and tactful ways in how we look for funding, such as food parcels or food vouchers, because there are still students without funding who literally go hungry across our campuses. Securing food parcels plays a decisive role in deciding whether a student goes to sleep hungry or with some food. We have to be cognizant of the fact that funders are no longer interested in donating cash. They are looking to fund ideas and projects. They are also not found in the private sector and are now everywhere. In our quest to increase access and funding opportunities to students, the EXCO of Convocation has partnered with the Fundraising and Development Office and UJ Sports Division to raise funds for the missing Middle students. On Saturday, the 30th of September, we will be hosting the UJ Future Walk fundraising campaign at the Auckland Park Bunting Road campus, aimed at bridging the gap in funding underprivileged students at the university. Last year, nearly 2 million was raised in assisting 13,000 students with full bursaries. Since the inception of the UJ Missing Middle campaign in 2016, contributions have helped us raise a total of 916 million to date. Please join us in making sure that this event materializes as we continue to uplift the lives of our students. I would also like to commend UJ's establishment of the Double R Future Impact registration campaign that has assisted academically deserving and financially needy students in recent years. This year, nearly 6.3 million has been raised so far. On behalf of EXCO, I wish to extend an appreciation to our staff members, stakeholders, donors, and members of the alumni who have been supporting this initiative. We are currently planning to raise funds for the students' historical debt and the registration fee campaign, among many other pipeline projects. With your support, as a university, we will be able to assist nearly 20,000 students to settle their outstanding fees in obtaining their respective qualifications and enter the world of work. Moving to the third area of focus, which is student welfare. As alluded earlier, the Great University of Johannesburg has developed a strong commitment to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. This commitment has given us competitive advantage over other universities in our profound impact to society and ongoing efforts to maintain our highly rated status in the global education environment. To date, the university has expanded its feeding schemes through establishing food gardens at 2 of our campuses targeted at zero hunger and food security. Our Feed the Student Meal Assistance campaign feeds almost 5,000 students a day, and it is done in such a way that upholds the dignity and support of our students. We have also developed partnerships with the UJ Community Engagement Office and are currently embarking on initiating more community outreach projects together in disadvantaged communities. Recently, we celebrated Nelson Mandela International Day at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital with the Community Engagement Unit and participated in the cleaning of the hospital, stacking and storage of medical equipment, as well as planting of 50 trees, including citrus ones. It is therefore imperative for UJ alumni to give back to the university in kind through financial support and input in various ways. Direct financial assistance towards, for example, bursaries, research, assisting with general fundraising efforts, mentorship programs, food parcels, opportunities for internships, and guest lecturers are always for Convocation members to get involved to make significant contributions to allow UJ to usher a developmental state in our lifetime. As Convocation members, your greatest source of capital is your intellect, and this is primarily the reason why I am humbly requesting you to please impart your industry knowledge to our students. Regarding safety and security of students and staff, the safety and security of students and staff alongside the integrity of our academic programs remain high in our agenda. As the EXCO of Convocation, we have been closely monitoring and observing issues with a potential threat of destabilizing institutions of higher learning nationally. Significant to mention is that we have consistently expressed our concern about the fatal attacks on staff members at the University of Fort Hare, the loss of accreditation of certain programs or qualifications at Walter Sisulu University, as well as the weakened integrity or credibility of UNISA's course offerings. Together with university management, we have mandated ourselves to continuously reflect on these matters and implement measures to mitigate such actions. As Convocation, our shared goal with the university is to ensure that we uphold the legacy and reputation of the great University of Johannesburg. This will also ensure that the university's qualifications retain their currency and continue to be held in high esteem. It is therefore essential to keep ourselves abreast with recent developments of our university as well as other universities so that we are always prepared to deal with issues that may have ripple effects on our universities. It is also against this background that we have started embarking on an initiative to establish a national EXCO of Convocation across universities nationally, to continue benchmarking ourselves with other institutions of higher learning, both nationally and internationally. This will also allow us to expand our footprint and scale up the profound impact of the university. This will also allow us to avoid failure and repeat success, as well as unlock further potential and funding opportunities for our students. This will also allow for the cross-pollination of ideas amongst different institutions, as well as make sure that the input of Convocation is viewed as an important contributor to the national and public discourse of education. Regarding the UJ bus accident, I also wish to pass my sincere sympathy to all the students who were involved in the bus accident that occurred on the 25th of July 2023. We share the pain felt by all the victims as well as the families who were negatively impacted by this unfortunate incident. I would also like to extend appreciation to the university for the support given to the injured students and their families. This shows that the university takes the safety and well-being of its students seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, road traffic crashes are a human, health, and economic concern which leads some families to poverty and despair. South Africa has one of the worst road safety records in the world, with most of its fatal crashes attributed to human error. Human error accounts for nearly 80% in the eventuality of a road traffic accident. Human errors such as the non-use of seatbelts, drinking and driving, speeding, fatigue, use of mobile phones, driver attitude and distraction, judgment errors, pedestrian jaywalking, to name a few, remain the key risk factors. The Starbus accident, which occurred this year and during last year, as well as the fatal injury of one of our students opposite the Sophia Town residence in 2018, indicate the complexities and seriousness of this problem. Road accidents remain a major public health and development problem that has broad social and economic consequences, which, if unaddressed, may affect progress towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. This is what presents a conundrum. The conundrum is that the rates of crashes, fatalities, and injuries continues to increase despite numerous attempts to reduce them. In South Africa, road crashes and fatalities claim approximately 14,000 lives annually and cost the economy 3% of its annual GDP, which could be channeled into other socio-economic and development projects. It is against this background that UJ needs to leverage its expertise in the 4IR and its commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals. This will ensure that we promote the well-being of students and staff through promoting road safety. The importance of this issue cannot be overemphasized. Designing and offering free online short courses through our MOOCs on road safety aimed at increasing knowledge, modifying road user behavior and attitude should be explored. Regarding the issue of graduate unemployment is a topical issue that Convocation cannot look away in its dealings. We will seek to make a positive contribution in this regard. It is an issue that needs to be handled with urgency, sensitivity, and respect of the people who are directly and indirectly affected by it, because these graduates are our future sponsors and donors. Therefore, we need your support as alumni in the mentorship of our students so that we have more impactful people, especially in this climate of high unemployment. Key to achieving this is ensuring that through our collaborations with the university, we help students in commercializing their qualifications into purposeful use. Graduates need to be able to translate their qualification into meaningful action that responds to market demands and societal challenges. Together with the university, we need to ensure that our students are employable and that they become job creators. I firmly believe that the university is ensuring high standards and relevance of its programs in this regard. In its effort to help upskill and reskill people for current and future jobs, the university introduced a 100% free online short course on the Sustainable Development Goals and artificial intelligence in the 4IR. Anyone with a grade 12 certificate or higher education certificate can enroll for these courses. Moving to the fourth key area of focus, which is the SDGs and societal impact. I would like to highlight on the university's recent rankings. Perhaps one of the greatest news to share is that UJ has displayed an upward trajectory in its global rankings over the past few years, and this is a tremendous achievement. The university is ranked first on the African continent in terms of its contribution to the SDGs, and we are ranked first in the world in terms of our contribution towards addressing SDG 1, which is no poverty. The latest global rankings reaffirm the fact that our academic programs remain on par with international standards as we continue with our mission to position UJ as an international university of choice. These rankings are a wonderful tribute to the sustained work by our staff and students as we continue to forge ahead and scale new heights. It is evident that UJ continues to have a remarkable impact on the education arena and is leading the charge in every way imaginable. The university must maintain this momentum to become the leading university in the African continent. In addition, many UJ staff and students are winning awards, and UJ is doing well in many aspects, including the sports fraternity and transformation agenda. This, alongside many other impressive milestones, is testament to the hard work and commitment to the university. At UJ, we are committed in producing graduates which are highly sought after professionals in their creative industries of choice. The university prides itself in always striving to unlock the potential of the next generation of leaders and scientists. I am also pleased to share that 15% of UJ's electricity demand is being met by solar, and earlier this year, the university launched 2 electric buses, thereby demonstrating the institution's remarkable reduction in carbon footprint. These news serve as the catalyst through which we continue to fulfill our purpose as a university. And this is a clear indication that we are appropriately responding to the Sustainable Development Goals. I also wish to take this opportunity to wish luck to all our students, as well as encourage them to stay focused as they prepare for their year-end examinations. I am also acutely aware that during this time of the year, many of our students are under immense pressure. This may be because of the stress related to exams or other academic and personal challenges. My message to you is that it is only normal to feel overwhelmed during times like this. I therefore urge all our students who may feel overwhelmed not to give up or resort to desperate measures and refrain from academic transgressions. I also wish to take this opportunity to further encourage our student leaders to remain focused in their studies and graduate on time so that they can also be valuable members of Convocation. In conclusion, I would like to express my gratitude to generous alumni, donors, sponsors, staff, and all Convocation members that have provided activities that benefit the university. May you please continue supporting us in every way possible, and God bless you. Lastly, I would like to encourage all Convocation members to reach out to the alumni office should they have concerns and suggestions that they would like to table at Convocation meetings or other platforms. I thank you. Nyabong. Colleagues, please allow me to move to the next agenda item, which will be the address from the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor George Ditlokampeti. Over to you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, members of Council, of course, President of the Convocation, the Executive Committee of the Convocation, members of the MEC, members of the Executive Leadership Group, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We are drawing to the close of what has been a rather eventful year in the history of the University of Johannesburg. Although not an institution to shy away from change, we have certainly had to embrace a lot of change in quite a short amount of time. Though we have weathered this period masterfully, it does also beg us to take stock of the year that has been. This year, ladies and gentlemen, has brought with it great excitement and possibilities. It marked a new chapter for UJ and for me. My story, like many of yours, is inextricably linked with this great institution. It is my very beginnings at Vista University and later the Rand Afrikaans University that have led me here. I know all too well the importance of an institution that emphasizes access and excellence. UJ's history, ladies and gentlemen, is rich and represents a long legacy that you are all now a part of. UJ is a unique institution. Whenever I get a chance, I emphasize this point that at UJ, firstly, we have shown on a number of occasions that access and excellence are not mutually exclusive. Secondly, we are in the top 5, if you like, and at the same time we're accessible. There aren't that many universities that are there or in the top 5 or so that are as accessible as we are. And at the same time, there are lots of universities that are accessible, but that do not have the resources that we have as the university. And that is why I say we are a unique institution. It serves, and that is UJ, as a microcosm of our society and presents an almost unprecedented hope of a new tomorrow. Many of the inequities and inequalities in South Africa present themselves here, ladies and gentlemen. Many of our students are first generation. Many have emerged from lower quintile 1 and 2 schools. Many are impacted by the digital divide. Our student body is a true representation of the demographics of our country, and our understanding of the complexities of the country's dynamics is based on our very own experience. We are a tale of the ability to subvert the South African narrative that has taken hold in recent years. This is the very spirit of this institution. We are a university of possibilities that demonstrates the transformative power of education. In recent years, UJ has emerged as the 4th Industrial Revolution University, unparalleled in this space nationally and on the continent. Additionally, we have placed an emphasis on research that addresses the various United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and contributes to policy development. Our learning revolution now is one defined by our societal impact in this endeavor. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a young university that has demonstrated its ability to respond to our shifting context and emerge as dynamic and active participants in the 4th Industrial Revolution, alongside our commitment to transformation, equity, access, and Pan-Africanism. This will continue to remain our focus and ethos going forward. However, we cannot ignore the context of the world around us. Steep rises in inequality, growing divisions, pandemics, climate change, and leadership crisis are but a few descriptors of our current era. We are undoubtedly a world in crisis, which is reflected in our country and this vibrant city. In a post-pandemic setting, leadership is indivisible from sustainable development. As leaders, we have a duty to create a more just, fair, and equitable future. As the influential Austrian-American management thinker Peter Drucker once said, and I quote, "The best way to predict the future is to create it," close quote. This calls for a fundamental rethinking of our approach. We are faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges that call upon us to do more. Alongside our commitment to excellence and innovation, we have a responsibility to ensure that we emphasize humanity in our approach. UJ's vision emphasizes continuity, innovation, humanity, inclusivity, and purposeful progress as prerequisites prerequisite guiding principles for societal impact. This concept represents the effect of our research and work in the real world. It represents, ladies and gentlemen, a shift beyond academia to the economy, society, culture, and beyond. It is incumbent on us to lead through ideas, actions, and programs in ways that deliberately seek to ameliorate these challenges and positively impact on the world around us. The emphasis on societal impact is not only confined to the UJ community, but demands that we push our collective gaze outwards. As we continue to make strides with technology, we must do so in a way that advances and positively impacts humanity and society. Many of you can ask or may be curious, how are we doing this? There are a number of examples, and I just want to give you a few. For example, UJ, through the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, has adopted a village in Limpopo called Kwakwani. And I'm proud to say, together with the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and few members of the Executive Leadership Group, we visited this village to see the great work that is being done by colleagues from the University of Johannesburg. And we're going to continue to support this village, where initially villagers would share water from the river with animals, and now they've got their own boreholes. They have fresh water that is pumped using solar. Villagers have a bakery that produces around 200 loaves of bread on a good day because it's solar powered mainly. That serves 10 communities. And through the support of partner organizations such as Schneider Electric and so on, this bakery is doing very well, employing locals. We've got a preschool. We're setting up a clinic and so on. In a village in the Eastern Cape called Kutwini, colleagues at the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, using hydro panels, harvest water to provide drinkable water to members of the community. I can go on and on about these initiatives. And we're going to continue to support such communities. As we continue to make strides with technology, ladies and gentlemen, we are definitely going to make sure that these advances positively impacts humanity and society. At UJ, we have begun to emphasize societal good based on the convergence of our interests in 4IR and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. This concept represents the effect of our research and work in the real world. In fact, through our various faculties and institutes, we are already producing dynamic, exciting, and relevant research. The recent 3D printing project that has been rolled out at UJ in collaboration with the Department of Science and Innovation is a prime example of how we can leverage the technology of the 4IR and posit sustainable solutions that benefit local communities. Ladies and gentlemen, through these technologies, we also want to show that these technologies are available. They can address some of the challenges that we're facing, but we also want the community to debate and engage, on the impact of these technologies. At the launch of this 3D printer, a lot of people were saying this is going to take jobs away from, for example, bricklayers. And I'm one of those who say definitely this will take jobs away from bricklayers. But does it mean we have to be afraid? No, it calls us, it calls policymakers and all those that are involved to work on skilling and reskilling those that may lose jobs. Of course, this will also create more jobs. It means, if I may backtrack a little bit, this machine can print a low-cost house in 8 hours, of course, taking out the foundation. So it means that we will need more plumbers and more electricians and so on to make sure that this house are habitable. So we need to take those issues into account. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3D printer that I talked about at UJ, as I said, can complete one house in a day. The finished house is stronger, can handle fire better, and is better insulated than conventional houses. This is what we need. We all know the challenges that we're facing in our country with shacks that burn from time to time. This project demonstrates the ability of technology to address some of our glaring deficits and gaps, particularly in response to the issue of homelessness in our city. Another example that I would like to share is the fleet of electric buses that the president of our convocation referred to that have been unveiled, which produce much lower carbon emission while offering a smooth ride even on steep routes. This has been made possible by our shift to renewable source of energy, which currently comprise 15% of our energy at UJ. Now, to allude to the words of the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab, these are examples of how we strike a balance between the promise and peril of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, we must continue to emphasize addressing these broader challenges through our research and act quickly. This is how we ensure that our approach to 4IR speaks to societal impact. We are certainly seeing our commitment in this sphere pay off. In June, the 5th installment of the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings saw UJ once again improve its global rankings at position 46 in the world. The president of the convocation already referred to this, that we are #1 on the African continent in terms of our contribution towards the realization of the Sustainable Development Goals. And if we move on and look at other rankings, I mean, according to the Center for World University Rankings, the University of Johannesburg is ranked in the top 3.1%. And this is really amazing, taking into account that since UJ's debut, in position 951 6 years ago, we have constantly and consistently climbed these rankings. For the 2023 edition of this ranking, 20,531 institutions were assessed, making it the largest academic ranking of global universities. Of those universities evaluated, only the best 2,000 made the final cut and attained a ranking placement in the published list. UJ's latest ranking is a noteworthy achievement, demonstrating our commitment to excellence and its dedication to providing high-quality education and research. Moreover, just a week after the release of the CWUR, the Department of Higher Education and Training announced that UJ is now the top producer of research outputs in South Africa, out of 26 universities in the country that produce research that advances knowledge with the potential to benefit humanity. This is not bad for a university that is not even 20 years. UJ has achieved the #1 position in South Africa with 2,753.4 research output units. This represents a remarkable increase of 18.8% compared to the previous year, the average annual increase over the last 3 years being 8.4. Over 96% of the journal articles submitted were listed on the international journal indexes, with 78% being indexed in the prestigious Scopus International Publication and Citation Database. What is even more pleasing is that the per capita research publications output of UJ is also increasing and is among the top 3 in the country for 2021 publications. Now, this tells you that we publish quality. It's something that we need to emphasize. And secondly, it shows that our investment in our research endeavors are paying off. This didn't happen by accident. It's hard work, blood, tears, and sweat of our researchers, myself included. And today I want to say thank you very much for making this possible. And I don't want to leave out our students who are working hard, our postdocs that make this possible. And I need to emphasize this. This is quality research that came through a lot of hard work of men and women here at UJ and those affiliated with UJ, but also investment significant investment by the university, and for that we are grateful for the support that we have been receiving from our council to support our research initiative, and many of our partners that support our research projects, and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll agree with me that this is a marvelous achievement and recognition for UJ, considering that, we are a relatively young university, but we do not allow that to define us. And many of you who know me well, I've got this favorite saying that if you think that you are too small to make a difference, you have definitely not spent a night with a mosquito. And I'm not suggesting that we are a mosquito. Perhaps we are a mosquito to those that are watching us and are in awe that this newcomer, this new kid, how is this possible? Is it witchcraft, Dr. Vukuza? Then I would say no. Is it luck? If it is luck, it's because we are making our own luck. Because we've got really strong people that are working hard, to make sure that, as you have heard from the president, this great University of Johannesburg continues to grow. I like what one of our colleagues has said, that at UJ we should start by saying at meetings, Mr. President, exco of the convocation, we should not say all protocol observed, but we should say all excellence observed. We cannot hide this because we work really hard for this. If I could continue with rankings, ladies and gentlemen, you look at the 2022-2023 edition of the U.S. News and World Report, Best Global Universities Rankings, the so-called BGUR. UJ has again been ranked amongst the top 500 universities in the world at position 421, down only 4 places from 416 the year before. I'll take this any day. You know how many universities are out there to be in the top 500? In the new QS Sustainability Ranking, UJ is ranked in the 171 and 180 band in the world, and at number 2 in South Africa, joined with the University of Pretoria, behind the University of Cape Town. As these impressive feats demonstrate, UJ's future looks to burn even brighter. We are currently crafting a strategic plan which will take us to 2035 that speaks to this vision. As we reimagine and reinvent what the future could possibly be, I'm cognizant that we are in the age of angst as we are besieged with challenges that plague our current society, but the future will come, and as history has shown, despite circumstances, universities and societies will forge ahead. You too will be part of this revolution. I remind you of your inextricable link with our university. You are a living testament to the legacy and values of our institution. By maintaining a strong network with you, we tap into a pool of potential collaborators, mentors, and advocates who can significantly contribute to our vision. I also remind you that one of the most tangible ways alumni contribution to our university's growth is through the generous support, both financially and otherwise. This support plays a critical role in advancing research, funding scholarships, and enhancing infrastructure, creating a more conducive environment for teaching, learning, and innovation. Moreover, you are the bridge between academia and the professional world. By engaging with you, our students gain insights into the real-world challenges and opportunities. Collaborative projects, internships, and mentorship opportunities facilitated through this network provide us with a distinct advantage. This is not a road we can travel without you. As I reflect on my own role as an alumni of this institution, I am very mindful that these linkages are lifelong. In order for UJ to succeed and to continue to rise again, we need you. The American writer Robert Collier once wrote, and I quote, "Success is peace of mind which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best you are capable of becoming, close quote. Indeed, this is the very ethos you represent as alumni. As we walk into the future, I'm certain we will reimagine and reinvent the status quo together to make a tangible difference. Although I am a vice-chancellor, lawyer, and academic, one of my greatest passions is music. So, I see you are laughing. You are most definitely waiting passionately to hear what I plan to do. And one of the things that I would like to do is, I always had this burning desire to be a DJ. And I've been told on a number of occasions that I shouldn't go that route. Because as a professor, I won't be a right role model. And this was my wife telling me that soon you'll be packing things and going to nightclubs. And this do not mix. But I never argued with her as a good husband. But in the last few months, I felt that burning desire, burning hotter and hotter, because my role as Vice-Chancellor took me to radio stations, including the great, radio station UJFM. I got a show that I managed as a presenter, and I worked out a plan, Dr. Vuguza, that I am going to DJ for an hour before the end of the year at the Fountain with UJFM. If people say this Vice-Chancellor is naughty, then it will be its UJFM show. And this is for our students. And it would be an honor for our alumni to come in huge numbers, because that will be making history. I believe I will be the most educated amateur DJ. But I shouldn't talk about this because maybe another Vice-Chancellor goes there and DJ now. No, but it will never be like I will do it on this day. And this is an open invitation. I shared it at one of the book reviews. Before the end of the year, preferably before our students go and write. And that would be my way of wishing them successful exams, but also to take out the stress, the edge, not for long, just for 1 hour. And that fountain will never be the same. So it will be an honor if MEC, ELG members and all the staff can come and support. It will be, and I haven't discussed it with the chief of UJFM, Dr. Vuguza, but I know you won't object. So it will be in partnership with UJFM and whoever wants to partner with us, just for 1 hour. And I want to show that you can DJ, not that you want to go to nightclubs, but then still do, because what's wrong with loving music, Professor Khan? I love music. So I want to leave you with these special words, from the lyrics of the group The Carpenters, Prof. Khan. I can see you're waiting to hear. You never know the groups that I always quote. You know The Carpenters? Oh, that's good. These lyrics are really special because they say, we will find a place where there is room to grow. And yes, we have just begun. We might not be 20, ladies and gentlemen, but we are going to grow. We have begun, and we are a force to be reckoned with. We are not that high school down the road anymore. And we were never the high school down the road. And we'll continue to show that. And you know why we do this is because we know where we want to go. We know our vision. We know our mission. We know what we want to do as a university in this city, in this country, in Africa, in the global south, and in the world. And the beauty of it is that we're doing this together with you, the convocation, of course, under the great leadership of the president and the EXCO. Amazing students that we have that are working with us, that know we do care and we want to support. Our staff, leadership, of course, staff, our partners. We can't do this without our partners. The last plea to all of you is that please join us when we do the UJ Future Walk, which is aimed at raising resources to support our students. It will be on the 30th, Saturday the 30th. There are different stages you can take. The longest being 8 kilometers. It will be fun. We will be there. Please join us, support us. Thank you so much for your attention, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Professor Mpedi, for the comprehensive speech, report. And I would also like to echo the same sentiments that indeed we are a university of possibilities, and progress and achievements are many. I think I really like your idea of
maybe I should charge. People come and then we can raise money for double our future.
Yes.
And you have an armband and we close it,
Yes.
But I'm CFO. You can't just watch the VC DJ for free. Sorry, Mr. President, you gave me an idea.
Yes. Yes, I think as the saying goes that when words fail, music speaks. So I think it would be a wonderful opportunity to afford members of Convocation to be part of social activities of the university, as well as give them a walk around through the university, because a lot has changed, Mr. Nel. There's a lot of new infrastructure that we have built. So I think it will be a good opportunity to ensure that we are in touch with our former students. Colleagues, please allow me to proceed to the next agenda item, which is item 9, the question and answer session, which will be facilitated by the Senior Manager for the Alumni Office, Mr. Nel Litwaba. Questions will be addressed by the EXCO of Convocation, as well as the members of the Executive Committee. I would also like to advise Convocation members, where relevant, to liaise directly with specific individuals at UJ where their questions cannot be fully addressed. Over to you, Mr. Litwaba.
Thank you, President. There are, of course, several questions that we've received through the chat box. And then, of course, some comments, good comments about the address that both of you, the VC and the President of Convocation, have made. And of course, the VC, they are wishing you well in your new leadership at UJ. Of course, the ESCO as well. Of course, the questions that have been answered, they are clustered in different portfolios in the university. Of course, we've got those that are aligned to the academic portfolio. We've got those that are within the CFO's portfolio, and then research and internationalization, and then the registrar's portfolio. And of course, I'll take one or two from the alumni office, and then EXCO also be ready. There are some one or two questions that are directed to you. And of course, I've seen one to the VC. And then President of Convocation, I think they give a rest for a bit for now. And then if need be, you will clarify and make some comments.
Okay.
Registrar, there's a question about the alumni clubhouse. They're saying, when is that going to be ready? There is a question from Leboto Kalenga and one alumnus. They are saying they are residing around the University of Johannesburg and they wish to access that facility. Would you like to respond to that?
Thank you very much. Allow me also to just add my voice of appreciation to both the President and our Vice Chancellor for the wonderful speeches presentations that they actually made. I think the first thing to say is that now thank you very much for giving me the first question because it does allow me to speak about how incredible the UJ, how pivotal, first of all, alumni are to all universities, not just in South Africa, but internationally. And then secondly, to say that I do believe that our UJ alumni are absolutely fantastic and, of course, represent the cream of alumni throughout the world. Our alumni now stand at more than 230,000, which I think for such a young university vice-chancellor and president and Convocation Exco is absolutely wonderful, and I salute you also for the recruitment and the work that you are doing there. In light of the importance of alumni for any university, and the importance of actually maintaining that communal, that sense of community, there were some discussions around an alumni house that would present an opportunity and a place where alumni can come together and can interact. To this end, the University of Johannesburg went ahead and scoped such an alumni house. We had identified premises in JBS Park, and we went ahead and we did all the scoping and so on for the project. And the cost for the alumni house came to between 3 and 4 million, around 3.5 million, and that was the scoping that was actually done. If you'll allow me to pause there for a second and see if I don't want to encroach on your, and you will have an opportunity later on to speak. But I do think that both the President and the Vice-Chancellor referred to the economic climate that not just the university is in, but South Africa and in fact the whole world. We are just emerging from COVID. We are, on a daily basis dealing with water shortages, with, electricity, I want to say blackouts, but various stages of load shedding. And so to that end, what we have done is we have prioritized the sustainability of our campuses, in that we run generators whenever there are load shedding stages. We ensure that our classrooms, our residences and so have electricity. We ensure that we have water, and that often means that our generators run for 8 or 7 hours a day, and that we track in water, to make sure that we actually have water. And in prioritizing the sustainability and the well-being of our students and of our campuses, we have decided that at this very moment, we cannot move ahead further with the alumni house. It would be irresponsible from the MEC and from the university, to not prioritize our students and our academic project. But having said that, we are continuing to look at this as a project. It is a project that remains on the table. It is a project that we're looking at. It is a project that we are putting funds, where we can spare some funding to put it towards this. But in the meantime, and again, because we know how important that community of alumni is, we have said that we would make any venue that is within the university available to alumni. If they wanted to meet, if the alumni wanted to come together, then please reach out to me, and we will make any venue, any and all venues available to our alumni. And this is the intermediate compromise that we bring to the table in terms of the alumni house. So even if it's not an alumni house specifically or a dedicated venue called alumni house, there are various venues across the campus and across any of our campuses that are available for our alumni to meet and to come together and to enjoy each other's company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Registrar. I'm not able to summarize, but I think you were very clear. I'm now going to read 3 questions that falls under academic. I'm going to allow Professor Sayam Khan, the DVC academic, to take these questions. And Prof, you are allowed to extend the questions for answering to the executive deans present with us if need be. Yes. The first question is from Lesego. The question is about the university working. It says, how is the university working to make education more accessible and affordable for students? Then the second question, it says, that is from Bophelo. In addition to the existing free courses that provide knowledge on SDGs and 4IR, can we tackle the issue of communication? I've noticed that in most cases, we are full of knowledge, but certain elements of communication hinders us to express our ideas, both within and outside the university. After leaving the university, I've realized that as much as I acknowledge a lack of proper communication skills, and that is what employers and society needs. Then the last question, is there any program that deliberately ensures the recent graduates move into PhD program or extend their research output into publishable articles?
Thank you very much. Now, so I'll answer the first two questions, and then our DVC, our acting DVC Research and Internationalization, will answer the last question that you have provided. So the first question asks about affordability and access. And if we listened to the speech of our VC, then our VC mentioned that we pride ourselves as being a university which is accessible but without compromising on excellence. And I think that is something that we have always prided ourselves as being. But if we speak about affordability, then I think we need to consider actions and what UJ has done when we say that we support students and we provide an environment for students to complete their studies. From our perspective, and I just had a conversation with the CFO who provided me with some statistics as well, almost 60% of our student undergraduate population are NSFAS funded. But beyond that, at the University of Johannesburg, we have a UJ Trust Fund that will also provide bursaries, almost 5,000 bursaries to students as well. And then you must consider that the faculties and the Office of Development and Fundraising, under the leadership of Ms. Daphne Nemakavani, she's also doing great work, and her team, they are doing great work to work with the faculties to raise bursary funding. I think many of us within the faculties, when we were there, I was a dean previously, we worked with CETAs and we raised bursary funding with her office to ensure that we could provide bursaries for students. And the CFO has provided an astounding number. With the work that the entities have done together, they have been able to raise over 1 billion rand in order to raise bursary funding for students over the last 5 years. And I think that is an amazing feat. And our actions and our efforts do not stop in order to support students. Consider the fun walk that the VC mentioned within his speech. That fun walk is there to raise money to support students. Consider the DJ VC that is happening, watch this space, which will also be charging or costing a particular amount of money. It's not for the pockets of UJ. It's not for the coffers. It's to support students. And so in answer to that question, our action says that we are there to support students and allow education to make it more affordable to the particular cohort of student that we serve. So that's the answer for the first question. All right. For the second question, yes, we do have 2 institutional MOOCs at the moment, but we are working on 8 further MOOCs. And all 10 MOOCs will be available in 2024. And I mentioned to somebody previously that those MOOCs I will loosely categorize, and I don't say I because it was the VC's idea and I'm stealing his idea, but it's loosely categorized as MOOCs that are skills development, and then a particular category that is more edifying and provides intellectual enrichment. And so from that perspective, within 2024, 10 MOOCs will be available free of charge to the public for them to use and do in order to provide either skill or intellectual edification as well. But I've spoken to the Executive Dean for the Faculty of Humanities in answer to this particular query that's related to communication. And I'm happy to announce that they do have short learning programs related to communication. And I think if we visit their website, we will be able to learn more information about the short learning programs that they have and how we could access those short learning programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Just before Prof. Sarah addresses the third question, it would best as well to also answer the other question that relates to the online library access for the alumni. I think you might recall that from our alumni office, we've got a library benefit for in-person visit to the library. I think the alumni are now asking about access to online services. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. I can't give you a definitive answer now. As far as I'm aware, it has financial implications for the university if we allow people who are not students within the university to access such journals. So that makes it complicated. However, I'm quite sure if there is really a burning need for an alumnus to access journals, that if they contact the library, there will be an arrangement made for them specifically. Now, on a serious light note or a lighter serious note, I don't know, you decide. Of course, if you pursue further studies, do an honors degree or a master's degree or a PhD, then of course you have access to all the journals in the library. So we really invite our alumni to continue also with their studies. But what I would also undertake, I will ask Prof. Maria from ARP to give some feedback to you as the exco of the convocation, with maybe some detail of what the issues are in terms of providing access to journals in the library.
Okay, there was a question about are there programs or the program that deliberately ensures the recent graduate move into a PhD program or extend their research output into a publishable article?
Yeah. There's not a central program. However, all faculties, as far as I'm aware, and if all faculties are not doing it yet, then today is a call for them to do it, is when we identify good master students. I can't imagine that all faculties don't approach these good master students to continue with PhDs. And we have a number of deans here who can confirm that this is indeed the case. Also, the postgraduate school offer many courses on writing articles, on how to improve your writing, etc. So I would urge students, PhD students who are working on their articles, because you should actually be working on your article while you're pursuing your PhD and not afterwards only, but to use the facilities and the courses that are available in the postgraduate school. And then also to emphasize that all our PhD students must actually produce 2 research output units. It could be journal articles, book chapters, etc. And where it is the case that they are not pursuing to have this published, again, we would urge them to take co-responsibility with their supervisors to ensure that this is indeed done. And then also, we do have regularly, and there will be again a call next year for the Global Excellence in Stature PhD bursaries, which are very good bursaries. And again, I know that faculties approach students, good master students, and say, please apply for these bursaries and even assist those bursaries. But it's also important that the alumni keep their eyes open for these calls and ensure that they also make use of that.
Thank you very much for that response, Prof. We're now going to go to the members of convocation. There's a question for you, Ms. Nondombi. So it's regarding the support. It actually says, how does the UJ Convocation Committee support upcoming entrepreneurs in different ways, such as upskilling or collaboration in projects? There is another question as well that you can also respond to. It is also from Anonymous. It says, what plans, measures are in place to accelerate participation of small businesses at UJ? Over to you.
So I think the main reason why we opened affinity groups as the UJ Exco is for convocation and convocants to actually interact within their own disciplines and find ways in which they can upskill themselves in terms of entrepreneurship and ensuring that they can link up and partner in their small businesses to ensure that they reach basically a quorum of having major businesses within the environment of the workspace. So the convocation actually also aims to open these spaces, cut down the red tapes that entrepreneurs are faced with, such as logistics of rental office spaces, marketing, IT and infrastructure challenges that a lot of entrepreneurs are going through within the entrepreneurial space. So basically, these affinity groups are the first door that we have opened, and we are pleading with all alumni to actually engage in these, thank you, pleading with all alumni to engage in these affinity groups, to be part and parcel of every communication, every meeting amongst each other. That is the only space where we can actually empower each other, exchange knowledges and ideas, and also collaborate ideas and partnerships to upskill each other.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you very much, Nondumiso. The next question goes to the CFO's portfolio. I see Daphne is with us, and also the CFO. It actually seeks to understand or get feedback in terms of the fundraising returns to see where are we doing well. They just need to get an update in terms of the statistics, and then so that they could also offer more support in terms of intensifying the fundraising campaigns.
Thank you, Nell. I'm really appreciative of that comment and the offer to assist us in this very challenging task that we are faced with. I think coupled with the ever-ending need that we need to address for our students, the strain of the economy does really call for all hands to be on deck. So I'm really grateful for that extension of an offer there. As far as where we are with regards to our fundraising initiatives, perhaps maybe let me start off by just sharing what program we've got in place. We have been doing well. I think started picking up really now fundraising from around about 2017. If we look at our achievements since then, we have raised in excess of 2.5 billion rand from external sponsors. In 2021, we took a new fundraising strategy to council for approval in response to the accelerated need for external funding. It was quite an ambitious strategy with really even more ambitious targets. We set for ourselves a target of 3 billion rand in 3 years. We are currently now at the 1.5 year mark, and I'm pleased to say that we have raised to date 1.7 billion of that 3 billion rand. Now, of course, within that strategy, there is a number of key priority projects. Student support is the biggest one, in the form of bursaries, meal and other allowances that the university funds from its operating budget, that we really are in dire need of having those funds released for other projects. We've got projects that target both current students as well as the historical debt of our students. Research has been another key focus area wherein we're saying that let's partner with industry and look for solutions to solve the problems of our society. We also have got projects that look at sourcing funding for infrastructure, which I think would be the category that the Alumni House would fall under. And I'm pleased that the Alumni Exco has also taken that under their wing as one of their fundraising projects. So we are on track, but the reality is that the economy is under strain, not just locally, but globally as well. So I welcome that extension of a helping hand and would be happy to engage with the convocant.
Thank you very much, CFO. Daphne, do you have any comment?
Thanks, Nell. I think the CFO has covered everything. I think what I want to touch on is I'm also appreciative of the fact that we have alumni who are willing to partner with us to take the university forward. So I always say because I understand that most of our alumni are first-generation scholars. Some of them have other responsibilities. Give us your time. Give us your skills. Partner with the university. Be visible. Make a difference. Advocate for the university. Most of them, they work for big organizations. They have friends in high places. Talk about the University of Johannesburg. Talk about our projects and assist us to raise more funds. As the CFO has mentioned already, the need is just great. The university is doing its best. We are partnering with the industry, but we really need our alumni to partner with us and take these projects forward.
Thank you very much, Daphne. I think I echo the same words. There is no organization that exists without a bank account. So in the absence of a bank account, there is no organization. That's the view I have. But thank you for that. I'm going to take the next question to you, Kutso. It says, any collaborations from the VC and the Convocation Committee with VC-related goals in his term? I think all they want to check is the convocation goals, are they aligned with the VC's term of leadership?
Okay, thanks, Mr. Aldwaba, and thanks to the viewers, and greetings to everyone. I think I'm only speaking now towards the end of the meeting, so but in relation to this question, I think when the President spoke, he did mention a lot of collaborations that we'll be doing with the VC. For example, he did mention the future work that is used for generation of funds during registration. There is a lot of sustainable projects that the President also spoke about, which are of the VC and also of the university, in order to reduce a lot of carbon footprint to contribute to this burning issue of sustainable development, both at UJ but also internationally. Because it is a priority for us to play a key role in order to reduce this carbon footprint, but also looking at transformation in transformation projects that the university will be taking into. That's where we will be looking into several collaborations with the VC. There are a lot of collaborations, but mainly I think they will be focusing on the fundraising one in order to look at the troubled students in our university. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Kutso. I'm now going to shift to the VC. These are the last two questions that I have. The Indian African proverb, they say, "He who eat last is the king." Yeah, so I think I hold that view as well. So, and then before that, I just want to make a comment that goes to the President of Convocation from Anonymous. He says, "Well done, President. The initiative and focus on student wellness is adorable and very important for student progress and success. To remove stigma from the initiative, I would suggest that we use the words student support instead of welfare and student meal assistance program instead of feeding scheme." Anyway, congratulations. Just a comment from Anonymous. VC, a question for you. It says, I think it derives from the address that you made. I would love to use that 3D printer to renovate my house. Is that possible? And the last question, it's about the filling of the position of the DVC research and internalization. I think they're just asking whether that has been filled already or not.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first question, I mean, I would love to build my house at my village, you know, where my wife and I and son will retire, or my wife and I don't know if the son wants to go to the village. Look, that 3D printer, the CFO can tell you, I've been saying to Prof. Mashau, this is an opportunity where the university could start 3D printing houses, this demand. People wrote, somebody wrote to me, a member of the public, that I need randavels printed in my yard. What is the cost? And so on. But I understand, because this is also for educational purposes. Prof. Mashau tells me that, look, we need to test this thing to ensure that the printed houses can stand the harsh conditions of South Africa, Gauteng, or the environment, so that when they start printing, these houses are solid. But these are also used for research purposes, you know, to explore the use of other materials that are widely available. I was touched when I heard from the professor running this program that they are experimenting also with hemp. And I said, why hemp? And they said, no, because hemp is fire retardant, and so on. So I see an opportunity for business, and we're going to continue to push the dean and the CFO so that, you know, we play in that space and print, you know, houses for people like yourself, and print houses for the person that asked about the 3D printing of randavels, and also have my retirement house printed. Of course, I will pay the full amount. There will be no discounts for UJ staff, and it's work in progress. And in terms of the filling of the DVC research position, the position has not yet been filled, but the recruitment process is in full swing, and as soon as it has been concluded, we will make the necessary announcements. And that said, I want to use this opportunity just to highlight one thing, that at the beginning we had so many executive vacancies that a lot of people were saying, oh no, where is this going? And we have done, we've made, let me put it this way, good progress. The registrar's vacancy, let me start because the registrar's vacancy came later, was filled later. The DVC academic, which is a role that I vacated, has been filled, and this morning I made a joke. I said, it looks like people don't miss me as the DVC academic, because Prof. Khan is doing a fantastic job. And the registrar who, and both colleagues, I mean, you can't tell there's been a change in terms of staff, you know, myself included. You can't tell that there's been change, you know, it's like we've been doing this for years. And then also we had vacancies in the various executive deans positions, and I'm glad today Prof. Anna Mutiti is here today. She has been doing this job now. I guess you got your first salary as executive dean, you know, the executive dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences. Hey, Prof. Khan, and you remind me all of the time, Faculty of Science, apologies. And then further, we had a vacancy, and the new executive dean, who's not that new, has been with this institution in that role before, is coming back, will be taking over from the 1st of October, Professor Federico Freschi, and now we're working hard to fill the vacancy of executive dean at the Faculty of Health Sciences. And so we're working hard on that. We've just finalized the recruitment, not the recruitment. We had our interviews for executive director facilities. We've interviewed, and then recommendation has been made. This is going through processes. You know, I hope and pray that everything works out. I shouldn't say this loudly, then the colleague doesn't, or the prospective colleague doesn't become difficult and say, no, I won't sign this and that. That I doubt it if it will happen. A wonderful candidate has been identified. The process is running its course, and hopefully soon we'll make an appointment. So if you look at all these vacancies that we had, we have done very well as a university. And I'll tell you one thing, we don't fill the vacancies for the sake of. So this is good you know, processes. There are 2 vacancies now that are keeping me awake at night. DVC research, we can't afford to have that vacant for a long time, although we are grateful to Professor Sarah Gravitt, who's really holding the fort so well. And the chair of the relevant committee of council and the chairperson of council have said to me, we can't have this vacant, and we have an understanding that our plan is by the end of the year, we should have this concluded, even if the people start in the new year. But I can assure you, we will not just feel it for the sake of UJ deserves the best.
Thank you very much, Professor Mpedi, our VC. That was the last set of questions that we had. We've addressed all the questions, Mr. President. I'm now taking the mic back to you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Nel Tuaba, and as well as to the colleagues who responded. I think the most interesting question that was asked by one of the convocation members was regarding to the lack of proper communication. The lack of proper communication is a serious challenge. If we may all recall, during her address, the University Chancellor, Dr. Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka, at some point she mentioned, I'm sure Prof. Sarah Clavet will agree with me that we have a serious challenge when it comes to reading for meaning, especially in our primary schools. So the issue of communication does not only start at tertiary level. It comes from the beginning, and I think the fundamental question that we should be asking ourselves is what are the institutions of higher learning doing in ensuring that we are producing good quality teachers that will ensure that the issue of reading for meaning is addressed. I know that various initiatives have been implemented, such as the early grade reading studies, but we continue to perform poor when we are benchmarked with other countries. Moving forward, colleagues, I am also impressed, Professor Mpedi, that in terms of filling up the vacancies that we have filled, I would also like to congratulate the university in ensuring a seamless transition of its leadership position. The MEC, the council, staff members, both academic and non-academic, I think they've really played a crucial role in ensuring that there has always been business continuity within the university. And I think we really need a round of applause as the University of Johannesburg, as the great University of Johannesburg.
All excellence observed.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all heard that there are vacant posts, I think it would be equally good to encourage our convocation members, because we have one of our own, Professor Mpedi, who emerged from the trenches. Right now, he became the Vice Chancellor. He was a student here. So I'll also invite prospective candidates to submit their CVs. Colleagues, without wasting much of a time, through the Office of the Registrar, can you please advise if there are any supplementary items that have been submitted so far?
Mr. President, we didn't receive any supplementary items.
Okay, thanks so much, Prof. We are now moving to the last item of our meeting, which is closing the AGM. I would like to extend a special word of appreciation to everyone who participated in this AGM, as well as the Alumni Office for their valuable contributions in making this historical meeting a success. Thank you so much, Mr. Letwaba. Let me also take this opportunity to thank the high quality of our EXCO members. I salute their dedication and their professionalism, which have no equal. Also, a huge thank you to the UJ Council for always ensuring that the university moves forward. Through the Office of the Registrar, if there are there any further contributions?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, if there are no contributions, I now officially adjourn this AGM. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.